What's up, everyone? Joe Gray here today with another GGC live stream. I am supposed to have a guest co-host with me today, but so far not here. So we will see what is happening. If you're in the chat, make sure you drop me a comment. Let me know you are there. Let me know if you've been on the other ones, all that good stuff, so that way I can say what's up. But today I'm going to walk through a handful of videos. Lifters who have competed in the spring GGC so far, walk through their lifts, try and give some feedback on what I see, and we'll go from there. So normally I let my guest introduce themselves, but with no guest today, I guess it's just me. So here we go. We're going to hop on straight into the reviews since I think you already know who I am. So first up today is Phil. Phil has submitted only a deadlift for us so far, so we're going to take a look at that one. It's a 525-pound deadlift, and he says it's not a PR. So Phil with the L in the background. Phil's using straps, which is totally okay in the GGC. Rob, what's up, dude?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, good. Hey, we're rolling. So
all right.
Here's our first lift. We got Phil. Phil's going to pull a deadlift, a 525 deadlift, and then we're going to give him some feedback, all right?
All righty. Oh, yeah.
You got it. All right.
Nice lift there.
So let's go back about where he starts. So he's locked in. He kind of drops, and it's kind of, I would say his hips are probably a little too low. He's kind of reverse squatting it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah, kind of strong man lifting it there.
Yep. So he goes from, you can see this real low hip position to, and the bar doesn't move, which I think is why. And then all of a sudden his hips come up, and then the bar starts to come up. Honestly, Phil, I don't even know how you managed to transition out of the bad position into the good position and still get the lift. I would have not been able to do that. So kudos to you on that one. But my key piece that I can see from this angle would be start with the hips higher. You got those hips so low, and then you move into the better position, and then that's why the bar moved. So you got anything else you see, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a couple of things that, I mean, just my usual kind of call out on deadlifts is just keeping the bar as close as possible. You know, it's just because of that initial, hip shifting up and whatnot, the bar's a little away. But the other kind of thing here is, and I mean, I think he's using straps, it looks like there. So kind of combating a little bit of this, but his hands are pretty narrow. I mean, it looks like his hands are probably riding up his legs the whole time, which is just added friction,
Yep. So let's see where he lines up. Yeah, I mean, that one is like on his shin. And it's hard to see the other one. Oh, yeah, there. Yeah, I mean, his thumb is literally crawling up his shin on that left hand. So, yeah, I'm with you. So maybe go a little wider on the grip.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, he's got the strength to do a lot more than that. I mean, fix the form, widen the hands maybe a little bit, add some weight instantly.
Only other thing I see is the lockout is a little weak. We're a little more extended as opposed to hip driven. So try and make sure you push through with those glutes as opposed to just kind of lean back to lock it out. As always, GGC, we don't care, but these are some tips and notes depending on if you plan to compete in a federated meet or not. Good stuff. So no fate checking in. What's up, Jonathan? All right, we're going to take a look at our next lifter. We've got Alan. Goes by MacDonagallaghan, something like that on Instagram. That was pretty.
That was pretty solid right there.
He did not mention anything about PRs, so watch that one more time. He's got on there? 4 plates, so 405-ish, depending on the bar and everything.
Right. Yeah. Whether or not there's any change on the side there that we can't see.
Down, up. I don't have anything. You got anything
I don't
on that
either,
one?
man. That's rock solid. I mean,
Yeah.
the one thing I was looking for was his walkout, and I mean that was solid too. So
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I mean that's a great lift.
Okay, Alan nailed the squat. Let's see if you can keep it going. 3 for 3, huh? Good grind, got it up. Okay, back. Anything on bench?
I mean, again, everything looks solid. It was a short pause, you know, like if it were a federated meet, but otherwise, I mean, it was a solid lift. Grinded that out, you know.
We gave some feedback.
Didn't move, everything.
Yeah, Danielle and I gave some feedback yesterday for one lifter who it looked like he had more in the tank, and I think he rushed. Sometimes we have this idea that the pause is actually like a bad thing and you'll lift less. Mm-hmm. I actually personally find that if I do a little bit of a pause, I actually lift more because you have to own that position and then you get that nice push off the chest. So that might be something to think about. Is not only is it going to help you if you ever decide to compete in a real meet, it might also give you just a little bit more because you don't have that immediate turnaround. But otherwise, that looked good. Yeah, I didn't see any issues with hips rising or elbows flaring or anything like that from that angle. So
right.
Looks like another 405 for the deadlift here. We got some sumo wedging in. It freeze on us. Let's see if it'll play all the way through. Sometimes it doesn't want to play the last little bit of the clip. There we go. Again, I mean, my guess is since he didn't notice any, so he says, dabbled with lifting when he was competing in Taekwondo, took it seriously when he was playing American football. He's got an injury to a sciatica from a herniated disc. So he's struggling to put on socks at Christmas. The fact that I was able to work my way back to any lifting is a miracle. So my guess is while these lifts aren't PRs, they're probably large mental PRs. You know, if you were struggling to put socks on about 6 months ago and now you're able to squat and deadlift 405, I'd be pretty stoked about that one. So
for sure.
So
no, I mean his form is solid. Yeah, across the board. I mean all 3 lifts.
Yep, I got nothing on the deadlift either. So making our job, well, actually, I'd probably say making our job a little more difficult because we're having to rewatch the video 4 different times to try and see if we got anything. So
great lifts.
Let's move on to Taylor. Everybody in the chat, if you're there, make sure you check in, drop us a comment, and if you have any feedback as we go to add to what me or Rob drop for people, or if you have any questions either on what feedback we give or maybe for your own lifting, feel free to throw that in there as well. We'll get to what we can as we go. So this is Taylor. So Taylor says he PR'd all 3 lifts, which is pretty dope. Another one I'm going to add in here for a couple of people is we asked I don't know, Rob, if you've seen the meme going around there for a little bit. It was if we had 100 of you versus a gorilla, would you win? Right? And so we asked that in the submission forum this year. Alan, by the way, says, I'd die. It's a fucking gorilla. Which I probably agree with that one. And Taylor also says, I would die. So, yeah. So let's see Taylor's list. All right, so unrack on the squat. So I like already This was a common one the last couple of days. A lot of people had their elbows flared back a lot, meaning they probably don't have that lat tightness and upper back tightness. I'm already seeing that probably a lot better than I've seen in quite a few other ones.
Let's go. Let's go, boy. Come on. Let's go.
Although we lose a bit of it there as we come down. Ideally, those elbows would stay a little more under the bar.
Push it, push it, push it. Go!
But I didn't see anything in terms of, I didn't see the background or anything like that. Did you see anything pop out to you?
No, I mean, like mid body, everything looks good. Agree. Elbows kind of flare back, on the concentric portion of that. It's hard to tell in the depth with the angle. Anytime I'm doing these, like I give my 3 whites, 2 whites, however it is, and I always just give them the benefit of the doubt. Go 2 whites, 1 red, for depth. So you still pass, but
Yeah. Let's watch it one more time. See if we see anything else.
Let's go. Let's go.
Walkout wasn't bad. We had some people the last couple of days who took 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe some shimmies, etc.
Right.
We only maybe a little bit of shimmying going there, but it was a 1-step and 2-step back, which is good.
Come on.
Yeah. The only other thing I would say there is the just the rack or the bar height. When he's unracking. I mean, he does stand up a good bit when he unracks there. Just every micro movement you do here is wasted energy.
Yeah, that's a good 3-4 inches up kind of thing. So
Let's go. Let's go, boy. Come on. Let's go.
he does have the Oak Club J cups though, so good job on that one.
Clear. Push it, push it, push it. Go!
Yep, good fight. Overall, good lift. Count it.
That's it.
Good
Barefoot
celebration all the way around. Yeah. Okay, here comes the bench. Can't see the feet, so that's hard to tell. He looks pretty flat here, like we don't have much of an arch. And looking at the knurling on the bar, it's looking like he is a very close grip on that as well. I mean, he's up. He barely broke parallel, and he's already like kinked out on his elbows. Right. So that would be out the gate, I would say.
Go. Right.
Finished it. So good lift. I would say technically that one had a handful of things that maybe kind of stood out to me. So how about Rob, you take a first stab at it too?
Yeah, I mean, same kind of deal with the bench. I mean, he has the lift off, so it's not as big of a deal. But I mean, height of the bar. I mean, you want to just clear the cups when you're unracking. Yep. I mean, even with a spotter. But yeah, to your point, super narrow grip. Obviously, he feels comfortable doing that. But based on the grind, I mean, I would just widen it out. I mean, a couple fingers, you see how it feels, or a finger at a time, and kind of go from there. But be willing to bet he'd be able to add some weight to it pretty quickly.
Yep. I'm assuming, again, we can't see his lower body, but based off of the fact that he's moving those hips around and stuff, he probably doesn't have his feet set until like there. So what Danielle and I talked about last night was in the bench, it's got to be feet set and then everything else, because you got to have that tension build from the floor back up into basically the shoulders, then up into the bar. So I think that's why he basically looks like he's flat benching. And so you can see those shoulders are already up in his ears as opposed to down and back. Issue here is going to be no tightness, lack of overall strength, and potentially some rotator cuff pec strain issues as he gets further along, depending on, how that feels for him. But, ideally you get that chest up and those shoulders back and you keep it in the pecs as opposed to that front of that shoulder area going on.
Right. Did he post the weight with this? Is it 290, 295?
290. Good call. Yep.
Nice.
290.
I mean, it's impressive still, though.
It's very, yeah. Oh, yeah. I am always blown away. So my bench this year was like 335. If I tried to bench 290 and not do all the things that I do, it would never go off in a million years.
Yep. I'm with you.
So let's watch. The only other thing I had was he's here and then kind of bails it, which works for some of the bigger guys because they get that belly rebound.
Right.
I think for him being not a super heavyweight, that's probably not the best approach. Now, he probably wouldn't have to hit that extra range of motion, those last 2-3 inches there where he bails on the bar, if he got his feet set and got some arch and got those pecs up and the shoulders back. He probably would have already touched and then came, a bit on the way back up. But normally free fall on that ball is why he had to throw it back up. And now we see his hips coming up.
Elbows are super, super wide there too.
Yeah. So, Taylor, fantastic grind, unbelievable strength for how much we just picked that to pieces. I think you clean some of that stuff up. Obviously, you got to do like one thing at a time. So I would start with feet and tension first, then try and work on that arch piece, and then, maybe widen your grip a little bit the next time and that kind of stuff. So little by little, change that. If you do everything all at once, you're going to bench 135 and go, this was terrible because that's too much at one time.
Yeah, totally agree.
But
widen the grip last.
But that was fantastic. So very good grind, good finish. Let's see what the deadlift looks like.
Go! Lock out! Good!
A couple of things.
Go! Drive!
Let you go first, right?
Yeah, I mean, instantly the back rounds. I mean, bar does stay fairly close, and I mean, he finishes the lift, which is great. I'm assuming it kind of looks like maybe he has a belt on underneath the sweatshirt there.
That is my guess. That's probably what we're seeing in that low back kind of bump there. So
I mean, some rounding isn't bad. I mean, I would say it's maybe a little on the excessive side with the rounding, but
normally what I go with is it's okay to be rounded if you start rounded and finish rounded. We don't want to go from straight to round while lifting. So we start, let's see. Too far back. So the rolling piece is that might help you, that might not. It probably helps you get more weight up right now, but my guess would be it also would ruin your tension and timing on that pull. So it probably feels like it works, but won't in the long term. It's typically something that again, like we were talking with the previous guy, or I think it was with Phil, the kind of the strongman deadlift approach. And the reason why you see Thor and all these other big dudes doing it, it's because they weigh almost 400 pounds. They have to do certain things to get into position and get their arms around their massive legs and shoulders and all this other stuff. So that rolling piece, I would actually probably recommend you just start with the bar right kind of where you are now, instead of that massive roll forward and then back into position. And then so the hips come up real fast. We're barely off the ground and we're almost like straight-legged, and that's because that back just goes right out. So my guess is a lack of lat tightness and core stability in general turned into that, but it's also potentially just a timing issue. So rolling that bar and then trying to get everything tight all at once and pull could very easily lead to that. So,
Yeah.
you got anything else?
Yeah, I mean, heck of a lift though. I mean, his back's obviously super strong, So like he grinded through it. Looks like 455 there, maybe.
Yep. That's
but
what he's
yeah,
got.
I mean,
so
it's still, still a good lift, but yeah, just some things to
1,100. He got 1,100 pounds, so 1,110 pound total, which is very impressive. Yeah, that's a solid feat, especially since I'm not seeing that Taylor's not a super heavyweight or anything like that, so that's a solid number. I think you take a couple of these things we just threw at you, and we might see a 1,200, 1,300 pound total in your very near future. So
totally agree.
Anything else on the last piece of that deadlift? He finishes.
Walk out.
I mean, a little bit of a hitch, but
yeah. But you kind of had to, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just due to positioning.
Yeah. The hips get through, which is good. He doesn't overextend, so I'm good with that one. But yeah, I think the hitch were there just because he was already, I would say, pretty far out of position. So
yeah, but, I mean, it has a ton of strength, though. I mean, dude's super strong, super impressive.
Yep. So Taylor, if you can take a few of those pieces, you're going to be moving forward even better, sir. That's. Again, I don't know how people don't like. I have to lift perfectly to lift barely valid. So very well done. All right, our next one is Sierra. So she goes by Amorphous Dominion on Instagram. So some more astute eyes might recognize the spotter is Christina Leonati, who will actually be on next Monday on the live stream.
Nice.
She runs Pull Your Heart Out and was our 2022 fall nonprofit. She just met Sierra the other day. Sierra wanted some help with lifting. She encouraged her to come back to her garage and test the lifts. And from Christina's feedback, this is her first time squatting, benching, and deadlifting. So first time, and she hits a 555 pound total, which you'll see in a couple of these, like right here, you can see she's not wearing sleeves on her knees. She has wrist wraps on. That's Christina's belt that she's borrowing because she's never worn a belt before. And my response back to Christina was just, "What the fuck, man? Like, what a genetic monster, right?" So Christina is a world record bencher. So Sierra's in good hands here. She's going to learn a lot, and we could be seeing her name up in lights here soon in the powerlifting world. So. All right, let's see if we can pick anything apart. So we don't see her walk out, but little bouncing, but otherwise not bad. Depth was a little high, but otherwise that looked pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean, the weight was obviously nothing for her.
Yeah.
How fast she stood up. Yeah, I mean, that's just intro to squatting, figuring out sort of thing.
Finding that depth is a hard one. So you don't know until someone's like, "Hey, you're 4 inches too high," or whatever, and then you're like, and you keep going and you keep going and then you keep going and you're like, "I gotta be there, right?" Like, all right, let's watch bench. So it doesn't look like a lot of arch, maybe at all. Pretty flat backed. My guess is Christina wasn't. I know. Christina told me she wasn't going to overcoach her out the gate, which is a good idea. So don't try and bring somebody in the first time to bench and be like, "So this is what you do. You got to do these 34 things." And so good control down, strong up, and a good fight. Not too shabby. So
again, solid for. I mean, literally just getting into it. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive.
I don't think she benched 125. I don't think I benched 135 for like years into my lifting. So
I'm with you.
One more time. Yeah, I mean, she only comes up off that bench a little bit and moves a bit, and I mean, that flat, that for her first time, that's crazy. So I would have
Oh yeah.
expected those hips to be up, up by the garage and stuff like that. So that's impressive. Okay, let's watch the last one. So deadlift. Oh, she probably legitimately taught her how to not do double overhand on that day. Very straight. Sits back.
Jeez.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, she's got a bright future in powerlifting if she sticks.
Yeah, that's nuts. Okay. I don't have anything. So Christina, good luck, my friend. So Sierra, well done. Everybody hates you but loves you at the same time. So, that's impressive. All right, let's take a look at Meg. Megan is a longtime GGC lifter. I'm pretty positive she actually won this rack that she's in one of the early GGCs. So she's been back year after year after year doing cool stuff. Megan has an 820 total at 290 squat, 165 bench, 365 deadlift. And these were training sets. So a couple of these she actually did like doubles. She just submitted a single for the GGC piece. So, oh, hey, Megan. She's here in the chat.
Megan.
Hi, Megan. All right, so we're going to take a look, and then hopefully, Megan, we can tear you apart here and give you some good feedback.
Be gentle.
Since you're live and in person. Good. Yeah, so you can see she was going to go for a second one there. So we'll watch it again, see if you got anything for her.
The walkout's pretty good.
Yep.
Right there.
The only thing I might have is the breathing. It's hard to tell from the angle. That looked like mostly out all the way, and then another full breath with the bar on her back. I'm assuming that's not the case, but most of the time we want to have that air like when it's in the rack, and then just add a little bit more as we get back. That way we don't lose any of that belly bracing as we get back into position. So she puts her head back, gets a little bit more upper back tightness there. Elbows look fantastic. She's in a real good, strong position. Come down. Looks plenty deep to me there. Yeah. So I would think that looks like she lost a little bit of position because her butt kind of shot back, right?
Yeah, little shift to the low back there, kind of muscling it up here. But, I mean, it's still a great lift, plenty of depth and whatnot. Honestly, if you – because you go so deep, it might be beneficial to not go that deep, I mean, you can make a case for rebounding out of the hole and kind of getting you past like the sticking point where your butt kicks back and whatnot. But, it's I mean, otherwise great lift. It just kicks back a little bit, a little bit of shift to the low back there.
Yep. Otherwise, I don't have anything on the rest of that squat. So that looked good, Megan. Good work. Let's jump forward a little bit. Go bench.
That was pretty solid. I mean, solid lift.
and this is one of those, I think you found what works for you piece to the puzzle. If I was going to start somebody from scratch, I probably wouldn't have them get fully set and tensioned and then bring their butt down. But I know a lot of people do that because that seems to be what works for them. Danielle talked about last night. She comes in actually from the other side of the rack and shoots in kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't even think I could do that. So
I heard myself try.
yeah. So So if that's what works for you, like here. For me, I'm normally already I got my butt down already at this point. Before that bar comes out, everything's tight and set, as opposed to here and then butt down. For me, that's more room for error for me to have to put that back down after I already have the bar in my hands.
Yeah.
And then we can see she moves a little bit more there at the end, kind of that it's not even quite her thoracic. She's almost bringing that belly up a little bit more. I would probably typically say, so the one that Marissa uses is tits up, right? So as opposed to trying to bring that belly up to the bar more, it's make sure it's the chest coming up to the bar more. I'm nitpicking because I'm trying to find something. So
yeah. The only thing that I would say is, and this again might just be what feels good, but just the length of time, like you get the bar up, then you're setting your feet, setting your butt, taking your breath, doing all that kind of stuff. And it's just a lot of time to hold the weight, which, seconds matter when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, I mean, just kind of reduce, but you don't necessarily want to sacrifice in form or, doing all of that stuff. So, I mean, just minor things. And then her grip width, it looks like it's kind of wide, so you may not be able to tuck at all, but I mean, your elbows kind of stay wide the whole time.
That's
the whole,
true. We can still see them. Yeah, they're out here as opposed to
right.
So
but if you're a super wide bencher, you can only tuck so much.
And I'm with you. That, I mean, especially compared to, was it Taylor, who I think was the exact opposite of her, right?
Right.
Taylor's hands were here and her hands are way out here. So no. Otherwise, looking good, my friend. Take a look at the deadlift. So this is another one. I think she did a double on. So that's probably a good example of what we were talking about earlier with Taylor. She has some rounding in her back, but it's there from the beginning, and she maintains it the whole time. So for me, if you had asked me like 8 years ago, I would have went, oh no, don't do that, right? Now I know enough to be able to say that's okay, right? We just want to make sure we don't have flexion going on that happens during the lift. So we'll watch that one again. She starts here, right? So she's already got some curvature to her back, which is totally cool. And then it basically stays the same the whole way. So, right?
Yeah. So this is what I mentioned with the first lifter. I'm Phil, maybe.
Phil,
The bar does kind of kick away a little bit on the ascent there. Maybe to clear the knees or something like that. But closer you keep the bar to your body, the lighter it is. So, I'm just going to instantly add weight that way, and it'll feel a little bit better too.
Yeah. Sam gave some, this was the repeat cue from him on Monday, was sit back a little bit more. So not down, but back. You sit back a little bit more, you get a little bit more, those hamstrings engaged, those shins get vertical, and then that bar doesn't have to clear the knees because it just goes straight up. So you can keep that bar closer to you. So
right.
Yeah, you could see. Let's do that one more time.
Yeah,
Right
pretty far.
here is where it starts to wave out just a tad.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
she's wearing pants too, so just slide it up those shins.
Yeah. Megan, great lifts, my friend. Hopefully, a couple of pieces there that might be able to help you. Obviously, a few of them are us trying to find something in otherwise pretty much perfect lift. So,
Agreed.
work. All right, let's take a look at our next one. Is Brandon. So it goes by O'Doyle Basement Lift. He's part of the Massonomics crew, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
With the Massonomics shirt, flags, strength spotter, and I'm sure that's their ammonia on the ground and all kinds of good stuff. So Brandon hit a 500-pound squat, 370 bench, and 605 deadlift for 1475 total. He PR'd his bench and deadlift. He's a firefighter. Let's see. He says if he fought the gorilla, he would fight dirty. He'd go for the eyes and genitals. So I think he thinks he's going to win. So
you got a better chance than I do.
Yeah. By the way, Megan's answer was, why fight when we can be friends instead? So I like it, Megan. So.
There you go.
Megan says, thank you for the feedback. You bet. Hopefully it helps.
You're welcome.
All right. So let's take a look at Brandon's lifts here. So the grip is always interesting. We talked about this with a few people yesterday, not this specific grip, but people who were kind of doing like a suicide or had a couple of fingers off. We talked about how ideally, typically, as weird as it might sound to somebody, that hand being tight, you get radiation all the way down through that arm and into the shoulder and the lats and everything. It helps. I think this is called, there was a guy who did something like this with bench last year, and he called it like a pterodactyl grip or something weird. Or have you seen that grip before, where it's kind of like, so it's like between, because he's like got it like through here, right? It looks like almost like it's through the thumb and through like almost like the middle finger, as opposed to I will say that his elbows are nice and tucked. He looks like he's fairly tight. That whole lift, his upper back didn't waver at all. So if it was causing some issues, I think we would have seen it, and we didn't. So that might be a moot point. But big air. Anything for him?
Honestly, super good lift there. Really just the grip would be the only thing that may or may not be beneficial for him, something that, he's wearing wrist wraps. So, part of me is wondering if just mobility is an issue with getting his hands on the bar. I've got a wrist issue at the moment, so I had to wear wraps when I was squatting today too. So,
walkout looked good. Breath looked good. He's very upright. He doesn't dip anywhere.
Crushed his death. Great lift.
He didn't say he PR'd his squat, so maybe that's why. I wonder if he went for another one and just didn't get it, and so that was the second attempt for him, and third attempt failed. But otherwise, that looked clean. So 370 bench here, which he claims is a PR. Yeah, that was smooth.
That's just raw strength right there.
We don't see It's hard to tell, but it doesn't look like he's pushing back into the bench much. But he doesn't waver anywhere. Nothing's real. Like, I'm not seeing his legs move a bunch. His hips definitely didn't move. Anything popping out at you at all?
No, I mean, like, it's hard. Like, I don't want to suggest like cheating, but like, I mean, if you let that sink into his stomach a little bit and like, get that, I don't want to say bounce, but like that little bit of rebound out of there. And if you were to like drive back towards the rack versus straight up, I mean, it's instant weight on there,
Yeah. It looks, and it's hard to tell without seeing his legs completely and his feet. It looks like he's just kind of laying on the bench to me, as opposed to kind of back up and on his traps. He's not like, again, he's not losing any tightness. Those shoulders are pulled back, so I don't see them like up. He's got his chest up. That would be my only potential thing, would be, does he have any leg drive going on to help create that stability? That looks great. He fought all the way through. And shout out to his spotter for not touching that bar all the way, being there but not pulling it up for him. So good lift, dude. Good deadlift. Deadlift. So it looks like he's deadlifting in socks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, no. Like it looks like a great lift. I mean, if he's comfortable with his feet that close together, and he keeps the bar close, looks like a good grind there. You obviously can't see, his form from the side, but I mean, benefit of the doubt, great lift.
Yep. Yeah. I don't have anything on the deadlift either. Some people go fast, some people go slow when they bend down to the bar. I tend to go pretty quick. He does too. So, like you said, can't see from the side if he's got all the tension, but I don't see his hips rising up super fast. I don't see anything that would tell me that this was a faulty lift of any kind.
I agree.
But hips are there, and they stay there until he starts pushing through. Maybe a little tiny bit of a hitch at the end there once he clears, but it's again hard to tell from the angle. He just kind of gets hung up a little bit right above his knee. So he hits there, but
which, I mean, to me, that's a byproduct of narrow, stance.
Yeah. Fantastic lift, sir. Brandon, with the almost 1,500-pound total. Nicely done.
Nice.
Dude, you're getting hard ones today. Almost everyone's got this perfect technique. The last 2 days, we've had a lot to be, and not like people's lifts were bad, but just there were like some much more obvious things to be like, oh, clean up your walkout. Oh, the bracing's off, like things like that. Today, it's like, man, we gotta dig for some of this. So.
That's all right. I love it. I feel like a lot of the reviews I do, like everyone's lifts are super solid.
That's what Danielle told me too. She's like, there's a handful of times where she sends an email back that just goes, good job. That's it. All right. So we've got Greg, who submitted off of YouTube. He's got a 760 total. By means of a 205-pound bench, 205-pound squat, 185 bench, 370 deadlift. He has been lifting for, according to his submission form, less than a year, which is pretty stellar with a 370 deadlift, sir.
Nice.
So
and doing the GGC, love it.
Yep. And his response to the gorilla is, he says, "Now one of me is too much." So he's confident that one of him could take on a gorilla, let alone 100. So,
all right.
Yep.
Hey, confidence is key.
Yep. I believe so. You can see.
Uh-oh. We lost him. I think I'm supposed to start singing or something. I'm not going to sing.
Add me, add you. Let's add his video back. Okay. Greg. Okay, so Greg is part of Arnold's Pump Club. There's a decent chunk of people who are going to compete this year from that group. So that's like Arnold's own lifting app and stuff like that. And so their goal is to kind of create their own, almost like we do some of our local meets that people host. It's kind of their own local meet within the app kind of thing. So should be cool.
Nice.
So yeah. So let's take a look. Hopefully, I'm gonna bet that since he's only lifted for a year, we will have a little bit more feedback for him than some of the others, but we will see. So, okay, so we got bench to start, up and out, down, up. Pretty good lift. All right, you want to go for it? Start.
Yeah, I mean, good lift, good grind there towards the end. I mean, so upper body, hard to tell from the angle, but upper body looks great, honestly. The lower body is what I would recommend working on, kind of more stability and whatnot. It looks like he's wearing socks, no shoes. So, adding some height to your feet. I mean, that's always going to help with creating tension. Could probably use with tucking the feet a little bit. But I mean, it's a mobility thing too. So if you got the flexibility to tuck the feet a little bit so you can create a little more tension there. Little unevenness on the concentric part of the lift there, but I mean, that just comes with time, less than a year of lifting, working out some imbalances and whatnot. But otherwise, I would say good lift.
Yep. Yeah. So mine would be lower body, so we can see. Yeah, that's that sock right out the gate. He clearly tried to put some pressure into that foot, and it slid out 2 inches on him out to the left. So shoes or something with some grip on it would be probably a good idea. That looks like it's probably a commercial gym just based off the plates and the bench and stuff. There's a good chance that bench isn't what we would typically call like IPF, approved height. So it might be a little too high to get a good position, especially for your legs and feet. If that's the case, Greg, what you can do is try and grab like one of those 45s and put it under your feet. So you can't lower the bench, but you can essentially raise the floor. And that should get your feet a little bit flatter. We have to do that with my daughter. We put some like crash cushions under her feet, so that way her feet can actually stay down. That would be my first two. So I'm with you on the socks and stuff, because then we can see the foot moves, which, I mean, of course the foot moves because the other foot moved. So now he's trying to rebalance the other foot. And that just leads into everything is loose. So, which is why that belly and the hips come up. But yeah, I mean, good fight. You earned that lift for sure. So shoes, maybe raise your feet a little and then try and stabilize from the feet up through, and then you'll be rocking. So
agreed.
So we got, looks like he's in his garage here. He's got a trap bar for his deadlift. Okay. So
you got Rocky or something in the background.
So you go first.
Yeah, so I mean, a couple things would be, I mean, really the same kind of deal with the bench, like setup, focusing on getting everything stable and whatnot. I mean, he takes a big breath. He's wanting to like muscle into it, kind of jump into the lift. which is great. It helps get things off the floor and whatnot, but that's where, form breaks down pretty considerably after that. So, I mean, really just getting tight, kind of, locking in and exploding without necessarily like popping into it, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah. What I've been teaching. So we've got a group of girls coming over on Sundays to lift with my daughter. What I've been teaching them when I have them do, like, we're picking up sandbags and stuff, is I go, your arm should be locked out and straight, right? You're not picking it up with your arms, right? You're not rowing it or whatever. Your arm is fully straight, and then you're standing up with it. And so we can see, like you're saying here, he basically tries to like jump into the like fully extended piece. And so it's really hard. So it's right here. Yeah. So you can see as soon as he goes to pull, he has to pull out that last little bit of slack. And by the time we go to actually stand up with the weight, we want all that slack already gone. Right. So try to, the way I've explained it to a few people that helped them was, and you can literally do this, like load up every weight you have on that trap bar and then try and pick it up. You can't, right? But that isometric, that position that you're going to be in, so you try and maintain that perfect position on the ground, that's actually where you should be when you pull that lift. So your arms will be fully extended, everything's tight, your legs are pushing, everything's pushing. That's what it should feel like when you start. So
Yep, totally agree. Yeah, the other thing I would say is just head position, and that's, I don't know, it's a lot of it's preference, but like they say, where you point your head the direction you want to go, but I prefer to tell people to kind of keep more of a neutral head position.
I agree.
Kind of, if anything, like you're looking 5, 6, 7 feet in front of you.
Yep. Yeah, I got in I'd never do it, but I got in an internet debate with a guy one time about that. He was trying to argue me about, like, well, when you wrestle and you wrestle, you got to keep your head up and all these different things, and there's no damage to the cervical spine, right? Is up top because there's no load on it. And I went, I feel like you're missing the key piece, which is there's no benefit to this. I can come up with a handful of potential negatives, but I've yet to have anyone give me like a legitimate benefit to overarching your head and wrenching your neck. I'm sure somebody who deadlifts 1,000 pounds will argue me or something like that, but yeah, I haven't seen anything beneficial. The vast majority of big lifters I see aren't doing that. And maybe he's seen some sumo lifters and, so he's kind of that chest up piece, or I'm not sure, but yeah, I agree. I teach neutral head, neutral spine as much as possible and up. So
yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at like Olympic lifters, they oftentimes look like their head is super far back, but their form is so good. Like if you drew a straight line, like they're actually neutral.
Yeah. So yeah, right there is where he actually gets tension. So same thing with the hips and everything. He should already be pushed into that floor. And my guess is you get some tension into that floor, into your feet, into your legs, in the lats and the hands and the arms, all that good stuff. And that weight will go up even easier. And then the only other thing I would say is the lockout. Try and hold it. So make sure you own that lockout. Again, doesn't matter in the GGC, but ideally when we lock out with our hips. We hold it strong. You see people on Instagram and stuff that they hold it up there and they go kind of thing. Like, you don't need to peacock it, but like you almost should be able to.
Yeah. It actually looked like his grip might have been given out a little bit in his right hand. So that's
true.
Could be why.
All right. Let's see. Watch the squat. Oh, he went the other way. Okay.
That threw me off. Oh, man.
Yeah. All right. He fought it? Okay. So I'll take this one first. So one, we can't do that. We can't do the split stance and out thing. I don't know. I don't know if we did this, Greg, because we thought we needed to face the camera, or because you don't have to, by the way, or if this is just how you've been doing it. But the further you get on your squats, I mean, you're essentially doing almost a walking lunge kind of thing to unrack that bar, which is not ideal. So we got to get under the bar, 2 feet, and then back out and down and up kind of thing. Anything else is going to be a weird one. And I can't even imagine walking backwards a heavy lift into a rack and try and make sure I racked it right. So,
right. Yeah.
But so that's one. So here you should have 2 feet together when you unrack it and going the other way. We also had, so let's go back here a little bit. So the walkout wasn't terrible considering how we had to clean up walking it out forward. Ideally, it's 1 step back with 1 foot, 1 step back with the other, and you're in position. I think he only had to do like 1 extra, so that wasn't terrible by any means. It's hard to tell from the camera, but it looks like we're a little lopsided, which could be similar to the bench. He either could have some mobility issues or past injury issues leading to that, or like we said, the camera could just be lopsided because it's very common.
Yeah, he could just have it racked weird on his back too.
Yeah. And then only other thing I had there was we want to let the weight settle. So when you get back and you get into position, you got to sit there for a second. So when you walk it out, Greg, you actually came forward. So you went like this and then went down. That bar is still going this way as opposed to down. So you're going to be fighting it from pinching you forward and down as opposed to just one. So when you get out, get set, let it set, and then start your descent and come back up. So depth didn't look too bad. You got out of the hole real easy, so that was good. And then somehow didn't die there, man. I would have. So anything else on the squat?
Yeah, the only other thing I would say is along the lines of what you mentioned here, where he kind of just rushes right into the descent here. It looks like he's taking his breath still as he's starting to squat.
Yep.
So, big breath in, expand in the stomach. I don't think he's wearing a belt under the shirt. Maybe he is, but yeah, I mean, big breath, get stable, get set, then start.
And you
squatting.
can hear it coming out too. So this was a hard one, and don't ask your doctor on this one because they're going to tell you the opposite of what a powerlifter tells you. They want to avoid a hernia. They want you to breathe in and then out as you lift, and you're going to die under heavy weights. Like there's no way to let that air out as you're pushing up. That works really well. Like if you're doing a cable row or something like that, or using some type of machine, it does not work under a heavy barbell. So that air has got to come in typically before that bar is unracked. So that way all that stability is there. And you got to learn how to breathe while not dying and holding it. And it's a whole nother thing to be, a power lifter in that realm. So So I'm with you. Anything else?
No, I mean, honestly, the rest of it looks good. I mean, it was a good lift. Depth looked clean, same kind of thing. I'm glad he made it back in the rack safely.
Yep. All right, I had one more. You want to do one more? It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
let's add one more to us.
I wish I had a better camera to match your quality here.
I told Danielle last night because she said the same thing. She's like, "Dang," and I go, "I mean, when it's like this is my job, I got to do it. I got to look good. I got to do the whole thing. I got to, the light up there and everything and stuff."
Yeah.
All right, we got Stefan. It's Stefan. Legend of Tadpole is his Instagram handle. He has a 1255 total, so 455 squat, 245 bench, 555 deadlift. That looks like a dude after my numbers. My bench is always the one where I'm like, I guess I did it. So, so he says lifting around my night shift schedule as a nurse in the peds ER has been really tough, I'm sure. This year I had some of my ER buddies come over to lift with me and cheer me on. No PRs today, but I had fun and always look forward to the next one. Awesome. Nice. And he said the gorilla wins every time. So if the ER nurse says that the gorilla is going to win, that's probably the correct answer. So
SpongeBob poster in the back there too.
Yep. No weenies. So okay, let's take a look. Hitting the ammonia.
We're smelling salt. Here we go.
You got Phil already laughing at him. If you're in the chat and you've ever done ammonia before, you know it is a absolutely disgustingly horrible experience. So I'm still not 100% positive why we do it, but
it's actually cocaine.
Yeah,
it's actually cocaine.
Open at my neck in high school. I had a friend who kind of brought your nose up to it. I can't do
Come on.
Pre-workout back from like Bulgaria. There's the whole thing. There was no like.
All right, so I had probably a few of the similar things we just gave to Greg.
It's actually cocaine.
So we get under the bar pretty good, get our air, but it sounded like he's already leaking some air there.
Open at my neck in high school. I had a friend who
takes another breath, which is good, but I would wait probably another split second, get that air, and then go, as opposed to get the air and go, right? Like your cue was last time.
Dude, I can't.
Come on.
You work out back from like Bulgaria.
And then it sounded like some air was coming out at the top, which is maybe okay. He was probably like 9/10 of the way there. You got anything else?
It just seemed like it's just kind of rushed,
Yeah.
Like the unrack is real quick, walk out's a little quick breath, shoes untied. Not to call it out, but
I can't. Come on. You work out back from like Bulgaria.
But otherwise, I mean, it's a good lift. His probably just a comfort thing, but like his feet, like you could probably not have them flared so much. Just to kind of keep the knees from trailing inwards a little bit there, but otherwise it was a great lift. Tell your buddies to not talk in your backswing.
Yeah. We have a pretty strong rule that when we're doing big lifts, everyone's got to be quiet. So my daughter knows it. She doesn't always obey by it, but she knows it. So that would be my thing too. So like we unrack the bar and we're like boom, already moving backwards, right? So normally I like to go up, let it settle a little bit, then walk back, let it settle a little bit, get my last air, let it settle a little bit, and then come down and up kind of thing. His was like, let's get this over with kind of deal. So, which I don't blame him, but you gotta embrace the suck a little bit. So
high school. I had a friend who kind of brought your nose to I can't.
Come on.
Pre-workout back from like Bulgaria.
Good, right?
There's the whole thing.
Megan says his shoelaces make me nervous. He may benefit from looking more forward to keep his back a tad more vertical. Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah. He's looking literally like down the whole time. Huh?
Right. It's actually cocaine.
So keep that head back.
Open at my neck in high school. I had a friend.
So he could get potentially a little bit more of that tightness up in that upper back. And he almost does the opposite of what we were talking about with the last deadlift, right? He was here, he's here. So find that in between position. So
And I brought put your nose up too. I can't. Come on. Pre-workout back from like Bulgaria. There's the whole thing. There was no like cover, like pictures.
bench 245. Trying to get there with the legs. All right, I took squat first, so how about you take bench first?
Yeah, literally same thing. It's just kind of rushed, just trying to unrack it, get it down as fast as possible, put it back up. So I mean, just more attentiveness to staying focused, kind of locking everything in, unracking. He does have a wider grip, it seems, but it's hard to tell on arm length too. But I mean, elbows are super flared the whole time. Which is probably how he's always benched, but like a little bit of tucking just to kind of help you at the lower portion of the lift and then flare, on the way up. I mean, he definitely bench more than what he's doing right here. So it's, he's got it in him for sure. It's just kind of locking all that stuff in, staying tight, not rushing it.
Yep. So the beginning caption on the bench says last warm up before more failed PR attempts. So I'm going to give this, my feedback would be in two different ways. If your official lifts don't look this way, then your warm-up also shouldn't look this way. So I know a lot of people like hop under the bar and it's like, oh, I'm going to squat 400. 135 is just 225 is 315 is 365 is like, okay, maybe I should start thinking about what my squat should look like. So make sure that your warm-ups look like your, actual attempts, because they are practiced reps. It's what you're actually probably going to do more warm-up sets and reps than your actual 1 rep attempts, especially on a day like today. So doing them wrong would be very counterintuitive. If this is what your actual lifts look like, then yes, too fast. We also get set, and then we get set, and then we unrack, and then we come back down. So we got tension in the legs and into the back, but then we lost it, and then we got it again, and then we unracked it, and then we came back down, and I think we lost it again. And then now we've got, again, we got the, like you said, his grip is decently wide, but even from there, I probably wouldn't call that stacked in terms of his wrist to elbow. If you look at that right arm,
right.
Normally our goal, so his arm is kind of like this. We want it to be here, right? So we want that bar to sit in your hand and that wrist to go all the way down straight into that elbow as much as possible. So whether we're tucked or whether we're flared, and I'm doing kind of a bad job of demoing it, but not here, not here, not here, not here, right? But straight up and down underneath that bar as much as possible. So I would say either that elbow needs to come in a bit more or that hand needs to go out a bit more. Obviously, I'm not sure how wide those hands are, so maybe they can't go out any wider, which would mean those elbows need to come in a bit too. And then you probably need to touch a bit lower too. That touch looks pretty high.
Right.
But yeah.
You should give yourself more rest though.
So yeah, set. So the legs never really are involved. I mean, kinda, but not really, which then means that whole midsection is not really ever locked in, which means his upper back is probably never really locked in. He's got to have more in him on this one if he locked that down.
Yeah. Well, and he believes so too, obviously, because he has failed attempts beyond that.
The finish looked good. So, the bar path or I didn't see the elbows kick out more. I didn't see him wobble. I didn't see side to side or anything like that. So I think it's just that setup piece. So Anything else on the bench?
No. I mean,
Okay.
I think we kind of covered
Cool.
everything there.
555 deadlift. Gonna hit the ammonia again.
Oh yeah.
At least I correctly estimated this top set. Okay, cool.
Get up! Get up! Let's go! Get up! Let's go!
We'll give him a very quality 10 RPE. I think on that one.
Yeah.
It was probably like a 9 until the last inch, and then he ramped it all the way up to finish that off. All right, what do you got for him?
Yeah, so I mean, just kind of recurring theme. It's rushed. You know, it's some people get away with it, like John Hack, for example. If you watch John Hack, I mean, the dude literally walks up to the bar, bends down, picks it up, but he does that with 1,000 pounds on the bar.
Yeah.
You know, but his form is impeccable. So I mean, here again, a little bit rushed. Kind of slow it down a little bit, pull the slack out of the bar, keep it close to you, and you know, I feel like you'd probably get past your sticking point at least a little bit further than you do here, you know, which is when you start hitching a little bit to lock it out. But I mean, heck of a grind. I mean, you can't. I mean, grip strength is through the roof, obviously, because you held down to that for a long time.
Yeah. So let's watch this beginning to kind of see. It's right. So he pulls in a position and then he's there, but then that shoulder blade comes forward again. Mm-hmm. So he's either moving too fast or I mean, that's probably it. He's going just a slight bit too fast, or he's missing a little bit of that lat tightness, because we shouldn't see that movement going on. So,
Right.
Get up!
Hips look good though, I think. Again.
Yeah, so I mean, he gets up, his legs are fully extended, and then now you're just like, all right, it's just all back. Let's just get it.
Yeah.
He's obviously very tall too, so that he's got a long way to go.
Get up! Get up!
Yeah, I mean, he's dragging that last couple of inches up the shorts and everything, so that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Ow. I'm sure he felt that one afterwards. So that was a good one. All right, man.
Heck of a grind, though.
Yep. All right, so let's finish up. Normally we do this at the beginning, but go ahead and give people. Oh, wrong thing. Go ahead and give people a little bit about yourself. If they want to find out more about you, do you do any coaching or anything good like that?
I don't. I used to. I kind of got away from one-on-one coaching, personal training, and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you can follow me at Colastrong_. Colastrong was taken, so added the underscore, and that's it. But yeah, I haven't been super active as of late on Instagram. My wife and I just had our third kid, so we've got 3 kids. Oldest is 3, youngest is a month. So
you're a crazy man.
Just staying super busy. I've been not the best as far as staying in the gym as of late, but you know, I every competition, I'm like, all right, you know, this next one I've got. I'm gonna lock in. It's funny. My bench is now my best lift, and I mean, historically, it's been my worst. You know, it was like squat and deadlift, all right, great, and then bench is just whatever, you know, wherever the domino falls, kind of thing. But it's been the opposite lately, but which is fine. But it's fun to do this. But yeah, I'm not really doing any coaching right now. I started writing up a bench manual just because it's kind of something that it's like a mix of conjugate, you know, West Side conjugate and just more like auto regulation kind of stuff. So I started writing a little manual on that I plan on putting out at some point. And I don't know if it's something I'll just release like Candido does, or like put up and, you know, hey, throw me $5 and you can have it kind of thing. But you know, so I guess, you know, keep your eye out for that. At some point I plan on, or I hope to start a supplement company. That's actually what the Colastrong was for. I don't know if you can see it through my crappy camera here, but I had a pre-workout that I put together, and had a manufacturing company kind of lined up to do it, but things fell through, finances, all that kind of stuff, life. But so eventually maybe I'll have a supplement out on the market. So that'd be cool. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, follow me on Instagram. Like I said, I haven't been super active, but reach out. More than happy to help if you do have any questions. Like I said, I'm not doing any coaching, but if you're looking for some advice, I'd be more than happy to help out.
Awesome. And are you doing coaching feedback for the spring for lifters again too?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
So some of you may get some additional feedback from Rob if you participate. And so make sure you do. The GGC will be open through Sunday of this week. Free as always. About $17,000 in prizes up for grabs this year. This spring. There's another 17 up in the fall as well from our awesome sponsors. Free coaching feedback, all kinds of good stuff. Get to be a part of the live streams if you want to. And yeah, I've yet to find a reason why you shouldn't do it, but some people find an excuse. So, but yeah, that's it. So we'll donate to Special Olympics and all kinds of good stuff on your behalf. So any final words for the good people, Rob?
No, just those that joined in, appreciate it. Hope you guys got something out of it, and keep lifting.
Yeah, Megan, thanks for being active there. Thanks for letting us pick apart your damn near perfect lifts and try and find some critiques. So everybody else, I will be back tomorrow with Christian Ernst for some more feedback to wrap up the week. And then next week, we've got awards week. So I'm going to have Christina Leonati, who we saw a little bit earlier, Amanda, Mark Rosenberg, which is goes by Deadliest Lift, as well as Travis Papa Bear Rogers on to watch all kinds of fun stuff. Next week should be an interesting one. Christina's live stream will be Prettiest Powerlifter. So we're going to look at a bunch of the gnarly faces that we make while lifting, and she's going to pick her top 3. Amanda's is going to be the most 10 RPE lift. So we're going to look at lifts like a couple of ones we saw today, I'm sure, where people spent like a minute and a half trying to finish that lift. Amanda's going to pick her top 3 favorite 10 RPE lifts. Mark, who is well known for doing just the dumbest thing with a barbell possible, is going to pick his 3 favorite wild submissions. So I know we got someone who did a real heavy Zerker deadlift squat combo thing and all kinds of wild stuff. And then Travis is going to be top athletes with me. So we'll take a look at the probably 3 biggest totals for male and female. He'll break down their technique and how they manage to lift as much weight as they possibly can. Hopefully all of us get some insights there. We'll move on to the next week, which will be prize week. So we'll live stream a few prize winner announcements, which should be pretty cool. With some of our sponsors, and then I'll wrap it up with the week after with with data. So I'll do one live stream the final week, kind of doing some wrap up stuff for the GDC, and that'll be it. So, Rob, thanks for joining me today, dude. Tossing in some good feedback and chatting and all kinds of good things. Everybody, thanks for the chats in the chat over there. And that is it for us. Go ahead and hit end. See you all tomorrow.
Awesome. Peace.